Hi students, in this video we're going to be reviewing using a ruler as a measurement tool, and then we are also going to do an activity, okay? So one thing that you need to remember is that a ruler is a tool to measure distance or length, okay? Distance or length. So let's get looking at our ruler. Another important thing that is also review is that in a ruler, I have different units. I see that I have inches on this side and I have centimeters on this side. Those are units. Those are the amount or the way that I am measuring different items. We will talk more about units when we come to capacity because there's different ones and we can go from one to the other. But one thing you really need to know are their inches and centimeters. Another thing to notice, and a lot of you did notice it in your observations, on the centimeter side, there are 10 tally marks or little notches in between the 0 and the 1 and 2. From one digit to the next digit, there are 10 little notches here. Those little notches or tally marks represent millimeters. Millimeters are smaller than centimeters. It takes 10 millimeters to make 1 centimeter. And we can see that represented on the ruler, right? 1 centimeter, and if I count, that equals 10 millimeters. On the inches side, there's a little bit more lines. There's more than 10, okay? And these little signs, these little notches, these tally marks are centimeters on this side. So 1 inch is larger than 1 centimeter because all of these centimeters equals 1 inch, okay? Also, we know that there are a total of 12 inches on a ruler. I know the one that is online for you usually only shows about 10, but in the exit ticket question, when you do it, a standard or traditional ruler has 12 inches. If you look on this side, a traditional ruler has about 30 centimeters as well. And what do we know about these 12 inches? If I was to look at this, 12 inches, what is that equal to or equivalent to? 12 inches. This right here equals 1 foot. Something that Gabby mentioned that I really liked in her observations. Yes, it is not a foot length, meaning each of our foot is exactly, or each of our feet are exactly like this. That's not the case, but this is if we were looking at 1 foot in a measurement that we're used to. We could talk to anyone in the world and they will know 1 foot. That is just this length, okay? And we are going to go over that more later this week. So for today, we're going to use that knowledge to help us with our biography project. So I put this paper, I put a picture of this in the assignments, but we're going to look and we're going to measure each different part and we're going to write a different part on it. So yesterday you were supposed to get your materials together, but if you have not gotten them together yet, make sure you get some paper. It does not have to be blank like mine is. It will be easier if it's blank if you have it at home, if you have a computer and your parents will let you use it. But if not, use lined paper, okay? You need a couple pieces of paper. You need scissors. If you don't have scissors, that's completely fine. You will tear it. That is fine. This does not have to be perfect. You need either glue or tape. And you need something to draw with or color with. So if it's crayons, markers, colored pencils, they were in your backpacks that you picked up when you got your laptop. So if you don't have it, that's okay. You can just use pencils, okay? So what you're going to be doing is you're going to measure and you're going to write whatever it tells you in each one. So for example, the first one says measure 6.5 inches and write your name in a fancy yet legible style. So what you need to do, your paper, you can use this as 2 different sides. So what I'm going to first do is I'm going to fold my paper. Okay. We're going to fold my paper. If you don't have scissors, if you crease it really good using your fingernail, You don't even need scissors. You can just tear it. So I'll show you how to do that. But if you have scissors, cut it. So when I tear it, I usually hold on to one side and tear the other. Again, Miss Brisbane's is not perfect either, but that is okay. Now, with my paper, I'm going to connect the ends. Even if this is not perfect, if it does not line up perfectly, that's fine. I'm going to take a piece of tape and I'm going to put it on top of there. If you have glue, you can do that too. So what I suggest is that you do a bunch of these. So I'm going to do another one. And the point of this is I need to get a length that is about this size, okay? And I'm going to show you there's two ways you can do this. But first, I'm just going to get my paper ready. And this time, I'm going to fold and I will cut. So again, my cutting is not necessarily going to be perfect. Then I'm going to take my two pieces together, add this to the end, and I'm going to tape. Now, it doesn't matter how many of these you put together. You can always add on, but I'm going to show you how I would do the first two. So I see that it says measure 6.5 inches and write your name in a fancy yet legible style. One important thing about a ruler, if it says half, that means I am halfway between two numbers. This says 6.5, so that means I have to go 6 inches and then another half. When I look at this, I notice that this notch right here, this little tally mark, this is clearly longer than all of the other ones. I noticed that. This is my halfway point. I can think of this as a number line. Between 6 and 7, my endpoints are 6 and 7. The halfway point is right here, okay? So if it ever says a half, you're going exactly in the middle, so it's equal parts on both sides. So the way that I would do this, and I'm going to show you on if you have a ruler, and also if you're going to use the computer, I will show you how to do that as well. So I'm going to take my paper. I know that with a ruler, I have to go to the end notch right here. So let me move that up closer so that you can see. I'm going to start at that tally right there. If you start at the very end, it probably won't be that big of a deal in 4th grade, but I want you to get in the habit of being accurate, meaning correct. So right here is where I'm going to start. I'm going to put the end of my paper right so it lines up with that notch. And the paper says 6.5, so I'm going to grab a pen. With all this stuff, I think I'm going to grab a pen. Let me get a pen. Okay, in this case, I'll use a colored pencil. And I'm going to go 6 and then a half. Okay, so this is 6.5 right here. I'm going to mark it so I don't forget it. And what I'm going to do, since I have that marking, now I'm going to take my ruler so it will be straight. And I am going to draw a line. I know this is the first part of my project. So what Ms. Brisbane is going to do, I'm going to measure everything out first, and then I'll go back and do it. So when I come back, I need to write my name in fancy yet legible style, meaning legible means you can see it, you can read it, okay? That will be there. The next one, number 2, says measure 4.5 inches and write your birth date. Decorate the box with your birthday item. So as you can see, you can use your About Me project to help you with this. But now, in the second one, and it is completely okay that this is a little raised, right? In the second one, I'm going to start at the end right here where I just drew that line. Again, I'm going to line up to the end right here. and I need 4.5 inches. I go to the 4, and then again, the halfway mark in between the 4 and 5 is right here. That's 4.5. Okay, so go to the whole number first, and then go to the fraction of half. And then I'm going to draw my line so that I know this section is for my birthday. I'm going to continue doing that. I'm going to continue adding paper as I see that I need to, and I'm going to complete all of these, okay? After you finish, you're going to take a picture, and when you take a picture, it could be like this, but I want you to show me how long it is. If you want to take a video and show it to me, that's perfectly fine also, and you're going to input it into the section. What I do want to show you I have a few examples, and I put the pictures up, but it will be pretty long, okay? Let me show you what this is not one of my students, this was one of Ms. Harris' students, if you remember Ms. Harris from the 5th grade math teacher from last year. So you see, name, date, family, some other things, just so that you can get some ideas. I'm not expecting you to have each drawing perfect. This is just for you to have fun practicing measurement. So if you have a ruler, you can, this part is just for you to understand now if you are using the computer ruler, okay, the computer ruler. So if I go, I thought it was up. Okay, so the way that you get to it, you can go to Introduction to a Ruler as a Tool, Actual Size, and I will post the actual size again down there in the assignment. Remember that you have to say yes, what type of Chromebook is the 11, and as you see, it only goes up to 10 inches on here, but that's perfectly fine. On the computer, it's a little bit more challenging to see the halfway mark, but the halfway point is in the middle, right? This would be the halfway point between 1 and 2. This would be the halfway point in between 2 and 3. You're trying to go halfway through. And the way that you can do it on this one is if you count 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth one is the tally, is the halfway. So if you go from 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the halfway point. If you go from the 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the halfway point. So the first one is 6.5. I have 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. I also can visually see this is halfway between 6 and 7. So the way that I would do this, and I'm going to show you on here. The way that I would do this is just take my paper, and I'm going to line it up to my screen. Okay, so I'm literally taking this, acting as if this is the screen, and I'm going to line it up. Then, not hard, because we don't want to mess up our computer screens, but after I get to 6.5, I'm going to do a little notch right there, and then I can put it down and do my straight line, okay? So if you're using the computer, just use this and put it up against there to measure. If you have any questions, let me know. I hope this is fun for you. It should not take you an extremely long time, but there are 8 different sections on here. Yes, you do need to complete all 8. The directions are on there. And again, I know the directions say a calculator. We don't need all of that. I just want you to use your ruler. I hope this is helpful to you. And if you have any questions, let me know.